had a thought that Ivy might not make it tonight either, but.
I'm here.
Oh, great. Okay, so much for my thoughts, which, arguably or complicate everything. I think you guys probably share that idea with me. Thinking is a poor substitute for being present and listening. But it's one that has a lot of appeal in my thinking. I mean, I spend a lot of time contemplating my thoughts.
Done?
Joseph?
Just gonna run to the bathroom. I think that's who he's.
Yeah.
Great, welcome. Thanks.
Blessings and peace be with you.
Thank you very much. Likewise, blessings and peace upon you, brother, as well. So Liliket, I think, not Liliket, but Ilsa's gonna be, she's still away. She'll be on the call, she thought, but it won't be until around 7:30 when she gets to an internet connection where she can join in. So Nora's on the road tonight, so she's not gonna be on the call. I am expecting Bridget. Liliket is here, Steve is here, Kevin is here, Jeffrey is here, and Holy Spirit is definitely here, right? That's just, it goes with the territory of joining. That's always the case, whether we're conscious of it or not. It helps us enormously and immeasurably when we do know about it, when we have some aspect of being conscious, and when we have some conscious recognition of the fact that we're never alone. So, and I'm greatly comforted by that, and need to know that, and then the need to know that is met and gone beyond in sharing the experience of it, the idea of it. Because it's not usually a thought that we particularly think to be of help, right? Usually it's, do I have the keys? Do I have my iPhone? Did I, do I have the, whatever it is I was supposed to get done for work, do I have that taken care of? Do I look good? Do I sound good? And then last or low on our list is generally, not always, thank God, but generally is the recognition that I'm not alone right now, and that infinite presence, loving presence, therefore infinite intelligence is with me and is affording me everything that I need far beyond what I think I need, which is largely a distraction. T.S. Eliot said human consciousness can't take too much reality. Reality being love, love being God, godly presence. The whole enchilada, everything I ever thought myself to have lost or needed is with me all the time. That's an important idea, to have handy at the forefront of my consciousness. So, because it calms me down, and I need a lot of calming down. I know how to get nervous quickly. And largely, my whole human experience, as I look at it objectively and honestly, is really an experience of pronounced nervousness and distractedness and
fear and sadness.
Yes, yeah. I'm not running the air conditioner. I know it's very, very humid. It's 60, I think it's about 60%, 65% humidity in the apartment. Usually when it gets above 50%, I start feeling it. And you probably do as well. Forgive me for not turning the air conditioning on, because I felt the temperature is low enough. Outside it's only about 72, 71 degrees. And so, although I know you're warm all the
Let's
time.
go outside. Can we go outside?
We could go up on the roof. I'm afraid it would be
Just kidding.
a tinge or two more damp.
I'm becoming friendly with my sweating.
Okay. So this business of God, my father's business, that idea, that biblical idea, is really my business. It's the thing I need to know that has the only thing I need to know that has the ability and the strength and the power to bring meaningful law and order into whatever I'm going to do, which essentially is empty and meaningless. I've discovered that all the things that I've made important, and the primary focus of my life in terms of prioritizing, really don't deliver on any of the promise that I attribute to them. I've tried it through work and through practicing and through trying to improve myself as a musician, as a person. Physical body, yeah, any of it. I can't get it at the gym. I've tried, believe you me, I've made that, a high priority, and it does absolutely nothing. It is what it is,
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with going to the gym, and I went today. I may go again tomorrow. It's likely I may go a few more times before I hit the exit bar on the door. But the gym is the gym. I think the Italian for that is quello che è. It is what it is. All these things. Jesus says in the Course, he says something to the effect of that the world is what it is obvious. Don't blame me. I'm not making the world. I tried that. That was on my itinerary and repertoire like yours, and I gave it a go and bailed.
Mm-hmm.
I flashed out into my own homecoming and found that waking up is everything, as I knew all along, but was somewhat reluctant to admit. So, let's see, I just read something nice in the Course, which I'll read, which I know you've read and you've heard. I know you know all this stuff. I know I'm preaching to the choir, and I adore the choir and need the choir to preach to. I seem to need a pulpit.
Choir tends to be forgetful, though. That's the problem.
What's that?
Choir tends to be forgetful.
Yeah, for as long as meeting and hooking up and being together seems to have merit, it wouldn't at all hurt us to overemphasize or sufficiently emphasize the idea of joining and what there is to gain.
Sure.
In the experience. Because it is the first thing we tend to throw out or discount from our minds. It doesn't, it has a much lower priority than my iPhone. Prayer is something I do when I'm done for the day. So, all right, so what am I looking for here? I'm looking for the book. Okay, and so this is, I'll just read it, and you guys can interrupt me, you guys on the call, and of course anyone and everyone here can interrupt me whenever you like. I love to be interrupted, because it's opportunity knocking, and as you know, I can get long-winded and off on thoughts that may be pleasant or attractive to me, but it may be fatiguing to you, or not to your liking, or not according to what you need. So, feel free to bring things back into meaningful focus because anything that helps you is going to help me. Yeah, okay. So in this, you've heard many times, this course is a beginning. It's a beginning and not an end.
Mm.
And the reality of that is because in God, beginning and end are one thing. You know, it's all part of the great, astonishing, immeasurable continuum of aliveness, holy, sacred, divine aliveness, far beyond anything, any meaning I can attribute or associate with those ideas, because, you know, but nonetheless, there's something right here happening right now that's off the charts, which has the capacity to excite you and fulfill you and inspire you to no end. And neither you nor I can get to it through separate thinking. Good ideas, as attractive as they may be. And yet, holy presence will always provide that quality of remembrance if I choose to call upon it. Right? This is God's promise, God's call. God calls everyone, and few choose to listen. So I want to emphasize listening.
Yeah.
Even though that in no way means that you shouldn't interrupt me or ask a question if you have one, or share something if it's meaningful and feels right and appropriate to do so. Because this course is a beginning, not an end. I don't have any more of it than you do. I don't have any less of it than you do. All expressions of love are maximal. Hello, God's holy Son, right? God's infinite gift is born in you this instant if you would take a moment to notice, a holy instant to notice, just the nanosecond of your precious time to come to stand in the grace and in the presence of what words cannot say, which would be your presence. Your friend goes with you. This aspect we're talking about is universal Son, Holy Son, one Son, singular reality, Christ, presence. You are not alone, because where can that fact of your life go? It can't go anywhere because it is everywhere always. It's omnipotent and omnipresent. It's always and forever, graciously and gratefully following the laws and the guidance of infinite will. Yourself, as God created you, wills with the Father absolutely, uninterruptedly, and has never done anything else. Which is why you can afford to lighten up and relax.
Mm.
Didn't go the way I thought it went. Thank God. It did not go the way I thought it went. So this course is a beginning, not an end, because in God there are no beginnings and ends. They're the same thing. The Alpha and the Omega are one. This, whatever it is always present and always with you. In this part of the course, Jesus says, your friend goes with you. Capital F. You are not alone. No one who calls on him can call in vain. Whatever troubles you, no matter how severe or extreme the anxiety or the moment of forgetfulness, i.e. sojourn into fear or terror may be, God has a solution, the answer to that. Holy Son will answer in the vernacular you best understand and seem to need. He'll make a case that you'll find attractive enough, acceptable enough. Whatever troubles you, be certain that he has the answer, this self you both have and are. And this self will gladly give it to you. If you simply, which means turn without conditions. Give up your list of what I think I need, because I don't really know. I think I know, but that's problematic. If you simply turn to him simply without your thoughts, you're fine to have thoughts, don't rely on them. They're not going to help you in the holy here now. But of course, this you know. So he, this self, this reality, this loving presence will not withhold all answers that you need for anything that seems to trouble you. Anything. He knows the way to solve all problems and resolve all doubts. His certainty is yours. And of course, in his certainty, in this shared experience of certainty, that's what never was is over and done. My fear is undone, shined away. It's what fear? Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like the Bible or even something like this is speaking in metaphors.
Yeah.
But this is being really straight, that it's not a metaphor. You can bring anything. You can bring my job, my keys, my peace of mind, my sadness, whatever the case may be. Right? That's pretty clear what it seems to be saying. That you can bring anything to me. It doesn't have to be some high and lofty.
Yeah. If you can't find your cell phone, you'd be ask.
Yeah.
Get used to, emphasize, develop that clarity of mind, presence of mind, to turn to one who can answer me and who knows where things are, far beyond my repertoire of where I think I put things.
Yeah. It sounds like it ties into there's no order of difficulty in miracles, whether it's something as lofty as, Lord, I think I've thrown my life away. Is it too late for me?
Yeah.
My iPhone.
Absolutely. You haven't thrown it away. Let's begin with the fact of your life, which is that everything that's real and true, God created, uninterruptible, unalterable, irrevocable, which means in the instant it was given you, it was yours forever. Let's get clear that that's so right now.
Yeah.
Let that have a moment of priority over all that other stuff that orbits your consciousness and seems to have importance and validity. Let what truly has importance and validity be so for me in this holy instant. It's bound to charge me with an element, with an unimaginable, unfathomable quality of being alive that'll help me in the area of wherever it is that I think I need help. That moment, uninterrupted moment of simple remembrance will provide whatever's necessary in comforting, relaxing, so that the place where I put my cell phone becomes once again known to me.
Yeah.
I remember it because I'm not freaking out about having to buy another cell phone or,
Yeah.
or losing my mind. I'm losing my mind. So you need but ask it of him and it will be given you. And yes, there's no trivial moment where asking for help will go without profound value and importance and utility and usefulness. So the more you develop that consciousness, the more you become aware of who I am and where I live, where my living is actually unfolding. Which
and
is
who's with me?
and all of that, which is a senior experience forever beyond, the levels associated with human consciousness.
But that could be also twisted, right? In terms of the ego, like I could say, oh Lord, I really want to get a new iPhone, please get me a new
Yeah.
iPhone. But what I'm saying is, I don't have enough.
Yeah.
And he's going to answer me back saying, yeah, you're right, you don't have enough. I mean, isn't that true? Isn't that how the ego twists prayer into a petition for something I don't really need?
I don't know,
It
but
depends on how it's...
yeah, and if you, when and as you establish this newfound capacity to turn towards simple reality, simple truth, helpfulness, that will charge your consciousness and your mind enough to be able to frame your request for a new cell phone in some enlightened, humorous way.
Right, it won't be...
Yeah, you'll ask for one, which is totally fine to ask for one. And you might even have the thought or the idea, if it makes sense for me to have a new iPhone, help me out there with
Sure,
that.
yeah.
And if it doesn't, my iPhone works fine, and quite frankly, I can't remember a version of the iPhone that wasn't ever enough.
Right, help me see that too.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, my landline was enough. I really don't need a cell phone as much as I think I need a cell phone.
But this is something in the Course, like this is why prayers often don't work according to humanity, because
Yeah.
if I'm sick and I'm saying, God, please make me
Yeah.
well, I'm reinforcing the idea that I'm sick.
Yeah,
Or
I'm
making more sickness.
making a condition, and the form
not
of
seeing
my
my
request is really just a request to keep the condition.
Yeah, I want to dispel the illusion.
Yes.
Like that's the real
Yeah,
point.
and that's what goes with that maneuver, that action, beyond the need to act whatsoever, that occurs when you simply just turn, help me, God help me.
Right, yeah.
That establishes that experience of humility, openness, receptivity,
Yeah.
the recognition that I don't know shit from Shinola, and I need to connect with who and what it is within me that does.
Yeah.
I need true help. I need love. I need understanding beyond what I consider to be understanding, which is all empty and meaningless. So that for the remainder of my sojourn into emptiness and meaninglessness can be given grace and value, usefulness, utility. So getting a new cell phone or not getting it can be somehow part of your experience of getting what I truly need.
Right, it's not really about any of that anyway,
Yeah.
obviously.
And the more able you are to ask for things in the context of that, the more you're engaging a quality of an unconditional quality of life that allows your needs to be met and gone beyond by one who knows what they are, which will take all that distracting nonsense out of your mind if you seem to get it or not get it. Because in an egotistical or belittled, self-diminished state of mind, illusory state of mind, even if you get your cell phone, it isn't gonna be anything but, oh, I got a new cell phone.
Right.
How many times have you walked out of the Apple store or whatever store you got your phone with that new thing and realized it didn't mean diddly?
Now I have to figure it out.
Yeah, except now.
That's my first thought. Oh, now I got to figure this thing out.
Now I got to go through the troubleshooting and trying to make sure. I've got to make sure that I'm getting my emails, you know,
Right. Yeah.
and my text messages.
How wonderful.
And what about my voice memos? You know, all that. Oh, you know, Apple Music. You know, what about my music? You know, all this stuff. See, that's why Jesus emphasized the whole experience, the idea of just set it aside. If somebody asks you for your iPhone or the shirt off your back, just give it to them and walk on in grace.
You won't miss it.
And, yeah, you won't miss it. If you need it, if it's of importance and meaning and value for you to have a shirt, a new shirt will appear.
Right.
You know, in some form or fashion, you'll get your needs met. Not as necessarily a lifestyle change, but more of a state of mind change by which you acquire, accept, become imbued with a deep and prevailing sense of grace and dignity, assuredness, that will lead the way wherever you seem to be, right? Because it's all the same. All the places and the circumstances really are not they're not different like I think them to be. Mm-hmm. It's all the same thing. And there'll be a moment in which all of that is finito, you know, it's over. And it'll be a moment just like this. So, in a way, you're preparing yourself for that moment, not in the way you may be thinking of it right now, but in the reality of realizing I'm ready. Mm. I'm ready. Mm. I am as God created me, and God created me ready and available. Let's get it on, you know. Let it be. Let life present itself. I'm here to recognize it, to receive it, to celebrate it, to share it, to be grateful, thrilled and delighted, and infinitely joyful about it. Praise God. You know, that'll give an element of aliveness, of sweetness beyond sweetness, worldly sweetness, to the apple of your life, whatever that is. You know, the thing I think to be so important. So you need, but ask it of him. Get good at asking. It's another way of saying become ever-present, faithful, ready, receptive. Be here now. And it will be given you. Because it's already yours. It was given you in the beginning. It's only your wayward thinking that seems to suggest otherwise. You need relief. But from what? Your own insane, nonsensical, illusory thinking.
Yeah.
That will, yeah, go ahead, Steve.
No, I remember an expression, either it's miracle mindedness or miracle readiness, that the Course uses. That
sure.
I really,
miracles,
a nice state of mind to be in.
Miracle mindedness. That means I'm ready.
Yeah.
Thank you, Father, I'm ready. Yeah. I'm here to do your bidding, your will.
Yeah.
Show me the way.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I certainly now know I don't know what any of this is and how to go forward and how to recognize it and have it be in the best interests of whatever it is, which is far beyond my thinking. Let that thought, whatever it is, let that presence, let that understanding that's beyond all categories, all conditions, all conflicts, all diminishing illusions, let that thought come upon me. Let it be mine. Because thankfully I know and am delighted to admit that it is mine. You know, God's will is my will. So, and then he goes on to say, you are as certain, so, you know, you are as certain of arriving home as is the pathway of the sun laid down before it rises, after the set and the half-lit hours in between. Indeed, your pathway is more certain still, for it cannot be possible to change the course of those whom God has called to him. And clearly we've clarified that everyone is called, and there's an inevitability, not an obligation, but an inevitability to that call. For it cannot be possible to change the course of those whom God has called to him. You're dealing with infinite attraction, infinite appeal. Your heart's desire, the longing of your heart. Therefore, obey your will, your real will, your true will, the will you share with God. Therefore, obey your will and follow him who is your will, whom you accepted as your voice, to speak of what you really want and really need. His is the voice for God, and also yours simultaneously, because it's all one voice. And thus he speaks of freedom and truth, which, by the way, are the two things you know that human beings chase around in this experience of illusory loss, and you know they seek and never find, right? Because they experience themselves separate and apart, or having had loss, freedom, their freedom, the truth of what they are. God's answer simply reaffirms the uncontestable, the unalterable, the irrevocable fact of your aliveness, of your being, of what you are as he knows you to be right now, in which you are totally dependent, right? Because you are totally dependent. You live by the grace of God. The expression of his aliveness is your aliveness. No distance there. There's no lines drawn. You live by the grace of God. You are the expression of godliness. Yeah, so that, you know, that's nice, isn't it?
Oh my God, yes.
It's not, you're nice. It's nice to be with you and have the opportunity, you know, to share, to be that direct and that sure, to be that sure. I can't be that sure if you're inaccepting of surety. But you make that possible because, as I have always suspected, I know, you know, right? And that's been one of the themes that we've shared a lot, not only in the group, but in all our associations, is the only thing we can be sure of is that every living thing knows what it is. I may have forgotten momentarily or temporarily, but only the truth is true. So now I'm going to segue to what we were reading last week, because it was good. I think it was good, right?
I was loving it.
It was as good as it gets.
Right.
So hopefully you guys online, the volume is good. You know, we're all hearing each other satisfactorily, and you know, I'm feeling you and you're feeling us, and it's a good feel. feels good.
So,
Loud and clear.
Yeah, man. All right, so this is in the workbook now, lesson 135. If I defend myself, I am attacked. And this is subtitle or paragraph, actually, not subtitle, but paragraph 11. A healed mind does not plan, it listens. It carries out the plans that it receives through listening to wisdom that is not its own. Because it recognizes that it's a little that its consciousness is a little suspect. Everybody learns that in their quote unquote illusory separate self human experience. It learns the one and only thing I need ever learn, that it's high time to shift beyond that narrow frame of illusory reference that I think associated with what I seem to think. I need a thought beyond all that, something that I don't consider to be my own.
Right.
Because what I made, we needn't go there.
Right. Because in my mind, it's always, should I do this or should I do that?
Yeah.
And at this point, I've already done so much of this, I've done so much of that. It's no
Yeah.
wonder I can't choose between this and that.
Yeah, and nor could I ever.
Right.
So I don't know what to do is probably the best
Right.
step forward.
Yeah.
Even though in my thinking, in my habitual thinking, it may seem to be avoiding taking a step that I
Right.
need to take.
Right. Right.
But, I love the idea in the workbook, I need do nothing as an understanding, a clarification of just who you are and what you are, so that everything that's really and truly yours can speak for itself on behalf of you. As when and as you're caught up in your needs, what good can come of that? So a healed mind does not plan. It does not plan. It carries out the plans that it receives through listening to wisdom that is not its own. It waits until it has been taught what should be done and then proceeds to do it. We're speaking of infinite patience, which is a resource you have. It's a quality you have. It's a Christ ability. Because it goes with the territory of what it is and who it is that you are. Holy Son, singular Son, unified creation, the one and only, God's beloved. It waits until it has been taught what should be done and then proceeds to do it. It does not depend upon itself for anything except its adequacy to fulfill the plans assigned to it. If I just follow along, whatever I need will be given me. If I don't, throw in the towel, give it up, just dissociate from it, go to sleep, go unconscious. It is secure in certainty that obstacles cannot impede its progress to accomplishment of any goal that serves the greater plan established for the good of everyone. A healed mind is relieved of the belief that it must plan. That it must plan. It's not saying you shouldn't plan. Right? Because within the human experience as we can think it to be, some planning seems to be in order, like figuring out what I'm going to eat tonight, or, giving some thought there. Although I could just go in the kitchen and let it rip. might be refreshing, you know. So a healed mind is relieved of the belief that it must plan, although it cannot know the outcome, which is best. So you don't have to, you could be completely, apparently void of any sense of how to do anything. Something in you knows and will rise to the occasion. It'll be creative. It'll be unique. It'll be elevating. It'll be, holy shit. Speaking of,
Holy beings, holiness.
hi Virginia, welcome. So a healed mind is relieved of the belief that it must plan, although it cannot know the outcome which is best, the means by which it is achieved, nor how to recognize the problem that the plan is made to solve. It must misuse the body in its plans until it recognizes this is so. But when it has accepted this as true, then it is healed and lets the body go. Body then becomes the beneficiary of whatever it needs, because you are not you, that illusory you is not standing in the way, misdirecting. Enslavement of the body to the plans the unhealed mind sets up to save itself must make the body sick. It is not free to be the means of helping in a plan which far exceeds its own protection and which needs its service for a little while. In this capacity is health assured, for everything the mind employs for this service, thy will be done. I don't know what it is, but I'm here to find out. One thing I know is I'm ready to receive it. I'm ready to receive it. I want to receive it. I want to know whatever it is that you would have me engage in.
So is this saying that sickness comes from trying to control outcomes, basically?
Sure. Yeah, a workbook lesson that comes to mind is that sickness, aside from sickness is a defense against the truth, sickness is another name for sin, error. It's always indicating where the mind is attempting to govern itself and has lost its way. Hence, something that could never happen seems to be happening. Health problems, psychological problems, emotional problems. Everywhere I look is a problem. Oh, that's how I know it's me and my life. Right? Because once you step into the territory of I'm on my own, I'm alone here, I got to make a plan. God, Father, Christ, Jesus, I'll get back to you a little later. You've imprisoned your own will. You've diminished yourself. You're already in the experience of terror. You have become the accident. You have become the one place in all of God's creation where help cannot be given. You took the bait, all ye who enter here, what does it say, what is in Dante's thing, all ye who enter, abandon all hope, all ye who enter here, because that's what you just did. Werner says that you don't get to vote on reality, you just did. That's your problem, is what you think reality is. Reality could never be a problem. Which humorously T.S. Eliot says, reality, human beings can't take or tolerate too much reality, because reality is love, worthiness. Reality is thy will be done. I'm cool.
Mm.
I'm full.
Mm. Wow.
I'm complete. I'm whole. I have no agenda. Let me go where the going is good, does good.
Mm.
And all the goodness and mercy that I seem to require will be given me. I get that. Something outside of my own thinking. That's what we're reading about here. Once you decide as a separate self, you're no longer free to be the means of helping in a plan, an overall plan of infinite order and intelligence and capacity, which far exceeds its own protection and which needs its service for a little while. You have a function, it's given you. You have a holy purpose in all of this.
Mm. Mm.
You are essential. You're not just, a molecule in the sea of emptiness and meaninglessness. God wants you
Mm.
and is talking to you and reaching for you always and forever. You are needed in the overall experience of awakening, atonement, at one-ment. In this capacity, whenever you should decide to accept it, celebrate it, make it your own, will as God wills for you, in this capacity is health assured on all levels.
Mm.
Everything comes into divine play. Your mind will work beautifully and sufficiently, along with your emotions, along with your feelings, along with your behavior. It'll all come together. It'll all accelerate. It'll do. For everything the mind employs for this will function flawlessly and with the strength that has been given it and cannot fail. Cannot fail, no matter what I think, or you seem to think, or what I think you seem to think. It is perhaps not easy to perceive that self-initiated plans are but defenses with the purpose all of them were made to realize. They are the means by which a frightened mind, a mind that's already slid into terror, fearfulness, loss, illusion, gone to sleep, right? Desmond Tutu says there are none so hard to awaken as those who pretend to sleep. Don't you blaspheme. Don't pretend. Be real. Be true to yourself. And to thyself be true. So, self-initiated plans are the means by which a frightened mind would undertake its own protection. Lesson 135.
Thank you.
Paragraph 14. They are the means by which a frightened mind would undertake its own protection at the cost of truth. All is lost. Paradise is lost. I don't know what I am or who I am. I'm very upset. This is not difficult to realize in some forms which these self-deceptions take, where the denial of reality is very obvious, yet planning is not often recognized as a defense. The mind engaged in planning for itself is occupied in setting up control of future happenings. After all, if you don't take an interest in your future,
Who will?
who will? What can possibly become of you? What are you going to do? Trust in God? Let go of the world? Let go of the rocks at the bottom of the stream? Let go of that which is giving you protection and what seems to be giving you shelter in favor of gaining the ultimate? Yeah. What if that were possible? And I assure you it is, and that you know it is, and this is what you are being called to from and on behalf of. You, specifically. You, specifically. Now hear this. So the mind engaged in planning for itself is occupied in setting up control of future happenings, does not think that it will be provided for.
Uh-huh.
Unless it makes its own provisions. Time becomes a future emphasis to be controlled by learning and experience obtained from past events, and you realize how well that worked out, and previous beliefs. Same. It overlooks the present, where everything is, where life is, where the music is, where the can-do is. It overlooks all of that. It overlooks the present, wholly instant, wholly here and now. For it rests on the idea the past has taught enough to let the mind direct its own future course. We're going down. That dog ain't gonna hunt. You know, this is madness. It's the madness of the world. This is the madness of the self you think yourself to be. This is the source of all your nightmares and your most difficult moments. The mind that plans is thus refusing to allow for change. Do you need change?
Yes,
Where can change occur? Where must it
in our thinking.
and when?
No.
Yeah, because
You go, girl.
yeah, if you allow the here and now to speak for itself on your behalf, then whatever there is about back then and about what may be will all come into some kind of alignment, equilibrium, meaningfulness, purpose. It'll all become clear. I don't know how, but I don't need to know how. I just want to receive that. The only thing I know is that that's what I want. I don't know how it's possible, but I trust that it is. And that in this infinitude of godliness, godly presence, loving presence, all things are possible. Far beyond the nightmare of what I think or seem to have thought. So the mind that plans is thus refusing to allow for change because it can't occur anywhere other than now. This is where the rubber meets the road. Love can only join you in the holy here and now. This mind that plans has learned before, what it has learned before becomes the basis for its future goals. That's gotta, how can that work out? I mean, how many times you need to go around that patch? Its past experience directs its choice of what will happen, and it does not see that here and now is everything it needs to guarantee a future quite unlike the past. Without a continuity of any old ideas and sick beliefs, boring ideas, all that stuff you think your life to be. And Jesus says is not your life. That mess is not your life. Anticipation plays no part at all. You don't have to anticipate anything. For present confidence directs the way. It provides. Right? This is the idea, the biblical idea that God sees and provides. Dio vede e provvede. God sees and provides. Defenses are the plans I undertake to make against the truth. Their aim is to select what I approve, what you approve, and disregard what you consider incompatible with your beliefs of your reality, like you know. Whenever you think you know what has been categorically the outcome, don't answer. Yet what remains is meaningless indeed, for it is your reality that is the threat which your defenses would attack, obscure, and take apart and crucify. The truth. What God would give you now. What love would have you receive and hear now. What could you not accept if you but knew that everything that happens, all events past, present, and to come, are genuinely, gently planned by one whose only purpose is your good?
That's the line that I wanted to just take a quick. I
Sure.
mean, I don't know if there's anything else to say, but that's the one that really gives me a lot of comfort, that line over there.
Yeah, and as it should, because love comes to comfort
Yeah.
you.
And forgive me if my question is nonsensical, because does that include, like, even in my dream, all events that I seem to see, or is it, no, Steve, we're not talking, not that.
Well, your dreams cannot join you in your reality.
Right.
But if you join your reality, accept your reality, accepted this idea, of a plan greater than your own making by one whose only purpose is your good,
Yeah.
then whatever remains of your dream will be the beneficiary. It'll rock. It'll be moved. It'll come alive by this presence, this animating, inspirational, abundant reality that will that knows what's in the best interest of every living thing, and will therefore use whatever seems to be before you in a way that's as good for you as it is
For everyone.
for the whole.
Yeah,
Being
that's great,
one
Jeff.
and the same.
In a way that I could never know on my own.
No.
Right.
Yeah. Because in what reality is there to the idea of that the idea that I'm on my own?
Yeah.
It's all. Have I ever thought that? Yes. Do I seem to think that from time to time? Yes. Is it ever true? No.
Huh. That's so,
I'm not on my own.
Yeah.
And nor have I ever been on my own.
Wow.
Even though I may seem to cling to evidence that suggests that I'm very alone.
Yeah. It's interesting here at this point where as we've been talking about today, I'm trying to decide what's in my own best interests, and I realize that I finally come to the point that I can't figure out what's in my own best interests. Right?
Say that again.
I can't figure out what's in my own best interests.
Nor could you ever.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, now with what you're saying, I'm left with an even bigger question: is what's in the best interests of all? What would be in the
Which,
best?
in reality, is not a question, but a moment of trusting, faithful recognition
Yeah.
that there is this condition beyond my illusory sense of isolation and separateness.
Yeah.
That there's something greater than that,
Yeah.
beyond all that, and that I have the means and the wherewithal to be informed by that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great.
So that I can act responsibly.
Yeah. And that certainly puts me in an even more humble state of open-mindedness, because I at least there I can say there's I can't, with my own mind, I cannot figure out what's in the best interests
Which
of
is all
everyone.
you need ever say.
Yeah, right.
Because
and
that
and I want to know. Yeah,
that recognition has life to it.
yeah,
It's freeing. It has the capacity to deliver you from whatever your thinking seems to be,
mm,
from all conditionality.
mm.
You can't free yourself,
mm, mm.
but you can be free and accept guidance and understanding and an answer that will reflect your freedom so that you can come to know it right fucking here now.
Great.
Here
Yeah.
at Jeffrey's.
Yes.
While you sit next to Lillicat,
Yeah.
Bridget, and Kevin.
Yeah.
All of this can be more than words.
Yeah.
It can be living, profound, right here, right now, I am moved experience.
Yeah.
Because God didn't create anything that can sleep. Therefore, be awake,
Mm,
be present,
Mm.
be open and attentive.
mm.
Pay attention, listen. Come into yourself, come out of the business of whatever that seemed to be.
Yeah.
Come into life.
Yeah. It's great.
Come, Jesus says in the Bible, come unto me.
Oh, wow.
You know, in the part of the Bible that they used in not Mozart, but
Oh yeah.
the Christmas stuff.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, the
Hallelujah chorus.
yeah, the Hallelujah. Who was that? Handel. The Handel's Messiah. Come unto me.
Yeah.
Where are you going to go? You tried everything else. Come unto me. Come into the experience right here, right now that you've been a little shy and reluctant to accept, to celebrate. Because perhaps you have misunderstood his plan, for he would never offer pain to you.
Mm.
But your defenses did not let you see his loving blessing shine in every step you ever took. It's all been undone as you seem to do it. All that troublesome, worryful, oh, what did I do stuff.
Yeah.
It was undone the moment you thought you did it, and before you even did it, because dreams are not reality. You know, you remain forever as God created you. You are as he would have you be. Don't allow your defenses to not allow you to see that his loving blessing is already shining in every step you ever seem to take. It's all good now. It's all good. While you made plans for death, he led you gently to eternal life because there ain't anything else going on. Eternal life doesn't fabricate an opposite. It couldn't. What knows no opposite, what knows no opposite is that living thing you are. The one, the Holy One, God's beloved. Your present trust in him, in this presence, in this guide, in this Christ, is the defense that promises a future undisturbed, without a trace of sorrow, and with joy that constantly increases as this life becomes a holy instant, which it in fact is. Set in time, but heeding only immortality, timelessness. Let no defenses but your present trust direct the future. All you need is a little help from your friend. A little help from yourself so that the help far and above and beyond anything you think you could do for yourself can be given you. Let no defenses but your present trust direct the future, and this life becomes a meaningful encounter with the truth that only your defenses would conceal. Without defenses, you become a light which heaven gratefully acknowledges to be its own. And it will lead you on in ways appointed for your happiness, according to the ancient plan begun when time was born or seemed to be born. Your followers will join their light with yours, and it will be increased until the world is lighted up with joy. This is what your function is. You're the light of the world. And gladly will our brothers lay aside their cumbersome defenses, which availed them nothing and could only terrify. We will anticipate that time today, that holy instant today, with present confidence, and for this is part of what was planned for us, for you. We will be sure that everything we need is given us for our accomplishment of this today. We make no plans for how it will be done. This is the way to start your day. But realize that our defenselessness is all that is required for the truth to dawn upon our minds with certainty. Bridget, did you have a question? Okay. And then there's the instruction in how to do the lesson. For 15 minutes twice today, we rest from senseless planning and from every thought that blocks the truth from entering our minds. Today we will receive instead of plan, that we may give instead of organize. Get busy. And we are given truly, as we say, if I defend myself, I am attacked. But in defenselessness, I will be strong, and I will learn what my defenses, which are but sicknesses, weaknesses, hide. Nothing but that. If there are plans to make, you will be told of them. They may not be the plans you thought were needed, nor indeed the answers to the problems which you thought confronted you, but they are answers to another kind of question which remains unanswered, yet in need of answering, until the answer comes to you at last. All your defenses have been aimed at not receiving what you will receive today, right now, if you prefer, if you like. And in the light and joy of simple trust, which means you don't have to figure anything out. And in the light and joy of simple trust, you will but wonder why you ever thought that you must be defended from freedom, from release. Heaven asks nothing. It is hell that makes extravagant demands for sacrifice. You give up nothing in these times today when, undefended, you present yourself to your Creator as you really are. Now would be wonderful.
Yeah, I do.
For He who created you, who gave you and gives you life still, has remembered you, is remembering you now. Today we will remember Him, for this is Easter time in your salvation. Why not? It's all been one moment of holy instant. And you rise again. You rise again from what was illusory, seeming death and hopelessness. Now is the light of hope reborn in you, for now you come without defense to learn the part for you within the plan of God. What little plans or magical beliefs can still have value when you have received your function from the voice for God Himself. Try not to shape this day. That's pretty good advice for any day. Try not to shape this day as you believe would benefit you most. That's like, don't scratch that itch, you know. Don't do that thing you want to do desperately right now.
That's really funny.
That thing you're about to do, no matter what I say. Try not to shape this day as you believe would benefit you most. For you cannot conceive of all the happiness
Oh, wow.
that comes to you without your planning.
Wow. Damn.
Learn today. Learn today. Be open and receptive. Turn simply to Him who knows, and all the world will take this giant stride and celebrate your Easter time with you.
Yeah.
Throughout the day, as foolish little things appear to raise defensiveness in you and tempt you to engage in weaving yet more plans, remind yourself this is a special day for learning and acknowledge it with this. And then it completes, this is my Easter time, my resurrection, right now my deliverance, my moment of realizing it is all accomplished within me. And I would keep it holy, which means I'll keep my thoughts out of it. I will not defend myself. I will not act in accord with what I think, for I will to know and to receive guidance and direction from He who is with me. I will not defend myself because the Son of God, which is what I am and who I am, needs no defense against the truth of His reality. I'm here to accept my reality, to know it, to allow it to know me, and to extend through me to others who seem to reflect the self I think myself to be, so that together we can share an experience that simply blows our mind. And along with it, all whatever that bubble of foolish thoughtlessness seemed to be.
Wow.
Yep. Okay. So it's,
Thank you, Jeff.
yeah,
Wow.
man. So it's 8:11, and we've got time, and obviously
Should we make a plan?
we could make some plans, but I think the foolishness and the ridiculously of such an idea has definitely caught our attention. So naturally then we can afford to laugh,
Yeah.
and relax, lighten up.
It's amazing how many plans we make that we don't keep anyway. Spend a lot of time thinking about, oh, I'll do this year, and this and this.
Yeah, and again,
As if, okay, I'm going to control everything that's going to come into my life. I'm going to find a way to do that finally. And year after year, it never works.
yeah.
Well, next January 1st, I'll do it again,
Yeah, could it be that all of that was the only thing that seemed to stand in the way of an experience of what my life is, what I am, and what all things really are, that would in fact deliver me from the insanity of my own illusory madness, my own little thinking, big sense of separateness, all that stuff that could never really be because God didn't create it. I am as He would have me be. I am as He created me. Those are some apples. Yeah. And every day is really another opportunity to deepen and expand that experience, to allow for a greater unfoldment of it. If you do that one thing, very often people hear in that idea the mind that's mired or still absorbed and attracted to error and loss, that plans are bad. The idea that plans are bad. Plans are not bad. But plans are unproductive and ineffective if you allow them to stand before your simple function, which is to listen and receive and do as you are guided, right? Listen, learn of me, and do as you are guided. Essentially, life is a listening. Healing is a listening experience, not of working it out, figuring it out, new diet experience, or anything else associated with that. It's not in the next song I might learn, you know, or solo I might play, you know. Nothing wrong without any of that, but first and foremost, let the song of life reveal itself to me, inform me, and that song will reflect that. It'll be sufficient, it'll be okay. Whatever you do today or tomorrow will be blessed. It'll be the beneficiary of an experience you could never have thought possible or give yourself, even though it was always yours to share and celebrate.
In fact, the making of plans is so that we can feel like we are blessed. Isn't that true? I make a plan and I feel good, and I feel like I'm in control. I feel the ego feels blessed.
If you allow he who goes with you everywhere you go to use your plan.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not attached to your idea of what the outcome should be.
Right. There's a saying, fail to plan, plan to fail.
Yeah, yeah. I've also heard people and teachers say, admit failure and move on.
Yeah.
Your failure is God's success, you know? It's when everything comes alive.
Well, I just see how, like, the whole ego slot system is, I can't win no matter what. So it's like,
Yeah.
you know, oh, I beat myself up because I didn't plan, you know, and
Yeah.
then I beat myself up because I did plan. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it doesn't, anything you do will be wrong.
Sure.
Yeah.
According to the ego, yes.
Yes. You can't work this out. You can't solve the riddle.
Yeah. It's unsolvable.
It's unsolvable from within the illusion
Right.
of it, because within the illusion of it is the recognition that it never happened,
Yeah.
which is really what salvation is. You are only and as God created you. You can remember that now and now and now and now and now and now and now, or good luck. Inevitably to lead to that moment when you realize, when you did accept it, which was, you know, way back
Yeah.
in the beginning, when you became who you are, when you were and are and will forever be who you are. You know, we can't make sense of that. Doesn't make sense in time-oriented, egocentric thinking, but it makes perfect sense in the reality of being born again. You know, of being as God knows me to be right now. What am I going to do? Argue with He who gives me life and knows what that life is? That's what you're opting for when you get lost in your thinking. When you know, enter into that impossible realm of, I forgot. How could anything God created forget? It is what it is. That's really what the meaning of it is what it is really means. To an awakened mind. To the Christ in you. Let Him interpret it for you. Otherwise, your glass is going to appear to be half empty. Or half full, which is the same. You know, or whatever new age spin you put on it, it still is going to be a glass with something you think to be in it. And you'll fail to recognize what it is. This thing that stands before you, which is a reflection of what you are. Right? All things are echoes of the voice for God, of God's joyfulness, you know. Let God move all that, and then you have a vibe that'll suffice. You know, you have a vibration that's enlivening. You know, you have the ability to be, you have the experience of being relieved. You're entitled to be relieved. You have the right to be at peace, given the fact that peace created you like itself. You are the Lamb of God, you know. Jesus was simply telling the truth. What better way to include you in it? To any mind that would see the perfect simplicity and obviousness of what he was saying. Okay, so, you know, there we are, 8:20. Any questions from anybody? Anything anybody want to share? From, you know, anybody out there on the call? Ivy, Joseph, I don't know, Franklin's on the call. Anybody else? You know, you are part of...
You know, one thing happened to me coming here, which
Yeah.
is really interesting, was I know that I kept thinking as I was coming here, I have to figure out the name of the... Who's the what's his name? His name is Stan. The
Stanley.
Stanley, the doorman.
Yeah.
I didn't know his name.
Yeah.
But I found out about the other doorman's name, who is Randy.
Randolph.
Okay, so last week I find out Randy's name. I didn't ask the other guy's name, so I'm coming here and I'm thinking, you know, I have to ask him about his name, and it's just sort of on my mind. And I walk in and Randy says, "This is Stan," and I'm like, okay.
He answered you before you
Yeah,
asked.
he's like, "This is Stan. You've been because I was calling Randy Stan for a while." He's like, "This is Stan."
Ah, okay. He clarified. Yeah.
Yeah, and
He
it
served
was so like,
perfect.
yeah, like I couldn't have even asked for that.
Yeah.
And I thought, how do I replicate this all the time? No, I didn't. I just thought, wow, that's so cool, you know.
And you know, by being receptive is the answer to it. By
Right,
listening.
yeah.
It's really weird because I was thinking, he always says my name and I don't know his. And I thought to myself coming up
You
here,
should know.
I need to know his name.
It's Randy and Stan.
Which one? The one, the tall guy with the glasses? Is which?
That's Randy.
That's Randy.
And Stan is the good-looking black guy, tall
okay.
black guy.
Okay.
And if you prefer, they seem to Randolph
Uh-huh.
and Stanley.
They prefer.
That's what I think.
Randolph's the tall one.
They're both tall.
Yeah, they're both tall.
Stanley's the dark complexion
Okay.
guy. Stanley's
Okay.
the
Stan,
light
yeah.
complexion.
Okay.
guy.
Stan
yeah,
and Randy.
that's weird. I had that thought.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah. I was just like,
See, all minds are.
right? They're just
Yeah, there's
Asking for
no
the same
there's
question.
no order of difficulty in miracles. There's no small stuff.
Yeah.
It'll all
Well, I
come.
caught it. You know, usually something like that would happen. I'd be like, oh, okay, that's nice. So what else? What are my problems? I gotta think about that. But today I was like, oh, that's so interesting how it just shows up
Yeah.
if you let it. You know.
Yeah, and it'll show up in the obviousness of
oh,
what you
and I
see
just
to
found out
be
their
before.
names.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Because I had that thought as it was coming up. I need to find out what it is.
And you know what? There's a whole universe of the miraculous in just learning somebody's name
Yeah.
and saying it
Yeah.
with respect and care and appreciation
Mm.
for who they are.
Mm.
It's got
Yeah.
a thing to it.
Yeah,
Mm,
it
that's
does
good,
actually.
Jeff.
Right. And that's
Okay.
actually what provoked me. Because he's like, "Hi, Bridget." He's always
Your
like,
input is
"Bridget, how
valid.
are you?"
Yeah.
And I'm always like, "Oh, I gotta find out his name."
Ivy, are you there? I thought I heard your voice. I don't. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just had a question because it just seems like the more lately I've just been getting this sense of that we're supported, we're always supported by, you know, by God and the universe, the Holy Spirit, and that everything else is false. And that's just the sense that I've been getting, and that my lesson for today was that forgiveness is the key to happiness.
Boy, is it ever.
And it's just this sense that whenever I start to think something that doesn't seem to be in line with God's thought and this thought of being supported, that I get this feeling that it's false, and that I should think of something else instead. Don't go that way.
Yet the miracle of God's loving voice and his answer will render it true in some way, so that whatever that thought seemed to be, it'll now come alive in some experience right here, right now, of what it really and truly is. You know, it's like, everything has a validity to it, except in the frame of reference that you give it. If you let God's voice, God's word be true, it'll get up and into whatever you seem to be thinking, so that what you seem to be thinking will now reflect truth. You see what I'm saying? Even that will come alive, but not in the way you thought it to be. It'll stop being apparently an opposite, and it'll begin to resonate and ring according to the holy here now, according to the truth. Let all things, I loose all things, I loose the world, I loose all things in the world, all my memories, all my thoughts, I let them all go. Let them all become a fit part of God's answer to me. So that whatever I thought now can become an expression of that greater thought in some beautiful, unexpected, and surprising way. Right? In this way, you learn to expect the unexpected. It all comes good. It all rings true. Because you're in the presence of a universal truth in which there are no opposites. Love it is what it is. So let this one thing called God's answer be received, be recognized, be desired and received. Be open to his answer, and everything else will somehow, I don't know how, ring true. It'll mean what he would have it mean. And that may instantly give you an opportunity to hear deeper echoes of his abiding, abundant supernature, even in the lingering memory of what I thought I was thinking. Even your thoughts that seem to be illusory or separate, the fundamental nature, energy of your thoughts is the thought you share with God. There's only one thought. Get it? Learn to listen to that one thought and everything comes alive. One life. There's no life and death. It's all life. Let it live. Let me see this differently. Let me hear what he would have me realize in what I seem to think. I don't know how that translates into what you'll become aware of next, but I know it will if you become that, if you make that kind of an appeal, an invitation. Un appello a lui. So I hope that was helpful.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all good. See, it's all far beyond all my thinking about what was good and wasn't good. Your life was all good, okay? Can we go on now? You know what I mean? Like that. It's like God says, God's answer is, your life is good, okay? Can we move on now? Can we have fun? Can we make music? Can we dance? Can we celebrate? Can we enjoy? Can we share this
Hallelujah.
beautiful thing that you love and treasure as much as I do? Can we get to that? Can we let that be? Absolutely. That's the least I can do. That's what it means to step back and let him lead the way, to listen, you know. Anyway, anybody else, or are we I know we're whole and complete and we're good to go, but I'm just giving a moment here before I officially say whatever that means, that we're done for the evening. If anybody wants to share anything or ask anything, thank you for that, and thank you for that if that isn't the case. You know, if you're just simply feeling good and present and happy to be.
I feel good.
Yeah, me too. I feel good.
A little hot, but good.
I knew that I would. I
Thanks,
had,
Jeffrey.
oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This was so exactly what I needed.
Yeah.